All right. The July 16th Westfield Washington School Board of Trustees meeting is now in session. Thank you for joining us this evening. Since we have a quorum, please stand for a moment of silence and the Pledge of Allegiance. Stacy, any comment cards? No? All right, we'll move right along. The next item on the agenda is the approval of the consent agenda. Consent items include board minutes, accounts payable vouchers, payroll vouchers, and the personnel report. All items in the consent agenda have been reviewed by the board in advance of the meeting and are approved in a single motion. At this time, I will entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
So moved.
Thank you. Is there a second to the motion?
Second.
Thank you, Jimmy. It has been moved and seconded to approve the consent agenda. Is there any discussion or any questions? All right. Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. Motion passes. Thank you. All right. Every month, we look forward to hearing updates from our construction partners taking place throughout the district. Tonight, we are pleased to welcome Jonathan Haggerty from Meyer Najum to provide an update on the transportation facility.
Make sure it's green. Make sure it's green. Push the button and.
Test. All right, perfect. Well, thanks for having me tonight. It sounds like we'll be here bi-monthly, I think, to do our updates. We did put together a PowerPoint slide that you'll see attached. We have an update on transportation, the operations building, and then also Town Road, and then obviously your new event center. So I'm excited to go through that with you. So over at Westfield Transportation, we've actively been moving now for the last couple months. All of our BIM coordination, which is the 3D modeling of the mechanical, electrical, and plumbing systems is complete. You'll see a rendering later in this presentation about that. And along with site fencing, we've also started all the mass grading and the building pad preparation. We have had some difficulties with the weather the last 2 weeks. Obviously, you guys all probably woke up around 12:30 last night to quite the downpour. So we didn't get much done today, unfortunately. But with that said, we're progressing on site utility work as well. And then we're also getting deliveries of our anchor bolts, which are what go in the concrete for your structural steel columns and such. And then we're prepping to pour those in anticipation of the precast panels and masonry starting here in the coming months. One of the things I was asked to talk about today was also the contingency usage. To date, it's been very favorable. We've only used 1% of that so far. It's only been one change, which was additional trees that needed to cut down back in March before the bat season was out. That was actually for the Town Road project that you're also familiar with. So that was just an anticipation of that future project. We have had some other opportunities, I'll call them, with some unsuitable soils in some small areas, but there was budgets for that within the bid packages, so those were no impact to you guys. But those are the only other things to note on as far as cost. As we progress over the next 60 days, when I come back, or I'm with my team, we'll continue with the storm pipe installation. Our foundations, as I mentioned, along with the masonry will be ongoing. And then we'll also move our concrete crews over into the bus canopies. So those all have their own independent foundation system. And then as you're also familiar, many of you, this building also has a geothermal well system for your mechanical systems. Those wells will start being drilled over the next 60 days. Those are on the south side of the building in the car parking lot. So those have been coordinated along with the new Town Road project with the utilities for sanitary and storm to coincide with those. And then, like I previously mentioned, we anticipate getting our first round of steel delivery over the next 60 days as well. I mentioned the BIM coordination or the 3D modeling of all the MEP systems, mechanical, electrical, and plumbing. That's something that you see here. That was just completed over the last 2 weeks. So all the trade packages over the last couple months have been working diligently with our in-house BIM department to work through clashes virtually prior to ever getting out on site to hopefully produce a better product and less issues and changes in the field. Is there any questions at this point on transportation before I transition to the other projects?
I'll just make a comment. There's a wonderful video. If you go to what Josh has put together at Destination Westfield, Schmidt has put together a live tour of transportation.
Yep, a
And-
fly-through
and,
video.
Yeah, and even added some music to it. And so it gives you a really good feel for what it's gonna look like when it's done. Very well done.
Heard. As previously mentioned, we are also actively working on the Town Road Citizens of Westfield Utilities Project. Hagerman is obviously here too. They have a piece of this as well when it comes to the road piece over off of Centennial. This job is kind of being split among both parties. Our portion of the work includes bringing water and sanitary from basically where the current transportation facility is. If you can fathom that, I think most of you are aware of that at this point, but if not, we're bringing water from the intersection where the Amoco gas station is across Eagleton through an Army Corps of Engineers approval site and then over onto your campus. So it's several thousand lineal feet of both pipes. They're in design right now. It's going to be broken into 3 packages due to differing approval processes. We're dealing with 3 different entities. So Town Road is mainly, the jurisdiction is mainly with the city of Westfield. Then you have the utilities, which are the water and sanitary, as mentioned. Those are under the governance and standards of Citizens, the utility company, and also have requirements within the city of Westfield. And then the third is the intersection of, Town Road and 32, which will be a 4-way and a dedicated right turn lane, and that is under the jurisdiction of Westfield and NDOT. Again, all on different approval timelines, and unfortunately, after a lot of due diligence over the last 6 or so months, the best that we can all work together to do is issue 3 separate sets of drawings, 3 different timelines, potentially 3 different contractors, to all get this on board, all by the time transportation in the fall of 25 is online, to make sure you have water and sanitary and a road to that project. So didn't work out exactly the way that we all intended 6 months ago, but after working with all the entities, they all are willing to row the boat in the same direction to get us a solution that's palatable to all parties. So any questions on Town Road and the utility project?
I'll just make a comment. So we're in the process of sending a letter out to homeowners. And if a homeowner gets that letter, just please reach out to Brian, Tom, and Michael, and, because we have to work through the easement on some of those properties. But, so again, just please reach out and call Brian. His number will be in the letter if you have a question, if you're one of those landowners along that road. And, there's not a lot, but it is a large distance to go, so.
Yeah, and what we've assured the members of your team that we are working with closely, that as we work across 32, our goal is to only deal with one property owner at a time. Obviously, there's a few businesses along the way. We're going to work diligently with them to ensure that there's not shutdowns for any extended period of time, weekend work, nights, whatever it may be. And then we're also putting provisions in place for some contingencies and things like that. As Dr. Kaiser would be aware, like there may be some concessions on, maybe the project interrupts somebody's front porch or, their yard, or a tree that means something to them. So those are all things that we've already documented. Some of the budgeting we've already done has gotten all the way down to, I think there's 4 mailboxes that are gonna have to be replaced, and those have already been accommodated in a budget. So we're trying our best to be good neighbors, if you will, but I'm sure there will be some frustrations from those homeowners and property owners along the way, but we'll try to do our best to be clean and quick. All right, moving over to the operations building, which is currently the transportation facility. We've been working alongside with Schmidt on this one as well. This was part B of the transportation project, so the same contract, just a separate phase. We are working towards a January release date for bidding documents, with the goal of having at least the I'll call it the storage building. It's not shown here, but a 25,000 square foot pre-engineered metal building will go on the back of the property as you have it today. That will back up to the elementary school, if you will. That has to be open by, I want to say it was March 1st or February 1st. I'm losing my dates, of 2026, because you guys are losing some of your facilities at that point in time. We obviously can't go in and renovate the existing main building until they move into the new transportation building. So that will be the second phase of this project, which will then start immediately following your guys' move in to transportation off of Town Road. There is an opportunity, as we've discussed with your team, to potentially start the building edition of this job prior to that date, but we're just in the very high-level schematic of our phasing. But you may see us working on the building portion of this job prior to the fall of '25 if we can work out logistics on that. All right, we will continue. And then the recently named Shamrock Plaza. We are targeting the 1st of August, essentially, to get these drawings out onto. Is that news to some? I'm sorry if. Yes, I apologize. The former Westfield Library, now your facility, Shamrock Plaza, formerly the Event Center, Community Center, as we were calling it. We should have bidding documents from KRM Architects the 1st of August, essentially. And we will be targeting coming to you in the September board meeting for approval of those contracts to start work immediately. This is obviously a slightly delayed timeline based on some reworks of budgets and design than what we were about 4 or 5 months ago. Our intent is still what we promised before, is to get this open by the 1st of the following school year of 25-26 school year. But it will be tight, but that is our promise to you guys, is to work through a schedule that meets that need. So any questions on this facility as we work towards getting this out on the streets and number back in front of you in September? Okay. And that was what we had. I'm open for any other questions as well. Otherwise, I really appreciate the opportunity to speak on the projects you've awarded us and give us the opportunity to partner on.
Anyone else have questions for?
Just appreciate your very hard work, all you guys.
Absolutely. No, it's been a lot of fun, a lot of moving parts, and we're one small piece of everything going on here, and hopefully we can all work together, including our partners here. And I think it's pretty incredible what's happened just in the short time we've been involved. So
What was the budget on the operations building?
approximately 15 million is the target budget.
Okay, all right. So you're involved with the plans, right?
Oh, you said operation, but I said the event center. The operations budget, that's still the target there, is roughly 15 million too.
Okay.
Yes,
Right.
but I was speaking on the wrong one when I answered.
You're involved in the planning and it'll meet all your needs and all that kind of good stuff, right?
Absolutely. Actually, was it last week? We met and brought in all of our operations team, could come in and put some input into the building and look at the early drawings and early ideas. And so all the way down to our electrician was in the room, to our locksmith, to daily maintenance, grounds, all of that. They were able to get in and put some input into the building and some thoughts. So yeah, it's been a great process and eye-opening to see what that facility could look like.
Yeah, I think where they've landed on the design, if I go back to the rendering, it looks very similar, honestly. Oh, yeah, bottom left corner, it's really hard to see, but that front addition really replicates a lot of what transportation feels like when you walk into the office space of transportation. So there's a lot of connectivity, I'll say.
You mean the new transportation?
The new transportation building, yeah.
Yeah, and we've reached out to the city as far as partnering with them on their needs. If they need extra parking or fueling on this side of the community.
Yep.
Again, we partner with them now, and so when Mike and I and Brian met with our new police chief, we reemphasized that as they start building their project and getting that moving forward, so.
It's also going to have a classroom space within the facility for maybe some of our mechanics classrooms, and it's going to be a really neat space for not only just operations, but for students as well.
And I believe this Thursday's a meeting for fire again, right? Yep. Awesome. I will hand this over, I'm assuming, to you guys? No? Okay.
Okay, thank you so much.
Do we ask Mike to respond to that on the auto? You wanna wait?
Oh, we can.
Mike, you want to talk about the potential of having a classroom and kids and from the auto mechanic standpoint?
Yeah, so the nice part about the current facility is it has spaces that are going to be, we're not really going to touch much of them, and in the back part of the garage, right? So the front of the house will be operations offices, but the back of the house will remain a garage. So we can get in there and have some of those classes out there. Also mentioned briefly, but we're working with the fire department. So for some of our EMT firefighting classes, there would be some trailers out there for educational activities. Working with the city on a couple of donations of fire trucks that would be housed out there, with one being operable. Even down to the detail of like dummy fire hydrants versus live fire hydrants out there for them to be able to practice hooking up. And it'll be a really neat just space that no one else has, right? It'll be a great opportunity. And then the pole barn access, that's what most of our facilities and grounds were really excited about. That will be storage for every school, will have a space for storage, even down to the way we're pulling our trucks in and out during weather events. And, we've just, it's been really, I think, well thought out on how we're going to use that space, and it'll be exciting, so, yeah.
Thank you. All right, and now for the business and operation portion of the meeting, we will turn back to Mike Hall for the next agenda item, which is Westfield Middle School West site bids.
Thank you, Board President Willis and the board. So this evening, I will be presenting on the Westfield Middle School West site bids. So with the help of Hagerman, the district was able to successfully bid for an early site package for the new Westfield Middle School West. Included in this package is much of the earthwork that is needed to complete prior to the building construction starting. Also included in this bid package is the drainage pond for the site that will serve both the new middle school and the new transportation center. Thanks to the hard work from CSO and Hagerman, the first bid package has come in at about $2 million under budget. We still have many more bid packages to go for the entire project to be completely bid out, but this is certainly a great start to the project. The fiscal note is that it is $14,306,932 funded with the 2024A lease, and the administration recommends that the Board of School Trustees approve the early site package for Westfield Middle School West.
Okay, thank you. At this time, I will entertain a motion to approve the early site package for Westfield Middle School West as presented.
So moved.
Is there a second to the motion?
Second.
Thank you. It has been moved and seconded to approve the early site package for Westfield Middle School West. Is there any discussion or any questions at this time? No? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. Motion passes. Thank you, everyone. The next item for the business and operations is the tennis court team building bids, which Mike Hall will also present.
Thank you. With the help of Core Construction, the district was able to successfully bid the tennis court team building. This building was in the original plans for the tennis court complex, but had to be cut due to budget constraints. With the bids for the ELC expansion coming in under budget, we've been able to bring this part of the original project back to life. We would like to thank CSO and Core for quickly working to add the team building back into the project. This re-addition required a change in electrical and plumbing that will not be completed seamlessly with the rest of the project. The main tennis courts are still on track to be completed by August 2024, with the tennis team building being completed in early January 2025. The fiscal note, $2,645,957 to be funded by 2024A lease. The recommendation is that the School Board of Trustees approve the tennis court team building bids.
At this time, I will entertain a motion to approve the tennis court building as presented.
So moved.
Is there a second to the motion?
Second.
It has been moved and seconded to approve the tennis court team building bids. Is there any discussion or any questions at this time?
Mike, when it says it won't be completed seamlessly, is that just referring to the 6-month or delay?
Yes.
Gotcha.
Okay,
Just,
one more.
just want to say thank you for all the work to get this back quickly in front of us and not too delayed from the opening of the court. So thanks for everybody.
And I'll add that Josh is gonna be reaching out to our tennis coach and the athletic department so we can have a nice ribbon cutting before we officially kick in that. So we were concerned about the weather, and they got it done in ample time, so we'll get it surfaced and ready to go. Pretty phenomenal turnaround, considering when we started.
Oh, yeah, and thanks for taking the extra time to relook at tennis court colors.
No problem. Also, I just would add, this kind of came about this week, but just Andy Tebby working with Annette Patch at WIS to ensure that we have some locker room space, restrooms, and it's they're working behind the scenes to make sure that not only our athletes, but also anyone that's there, at a match would be able to have access to those facilities as well.
Much appreciated.
Yes.
All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say no. Motion passes. All right, Mike, we're back to you for the copier RFP.
Thank you again. We have partnered with Sharp for our print needs for the past 6 years. They have been a great partner providing quality service and reliable equipment. Last year, all but one of our copiers came off lease. At that time, we opted to keep those devices in service for an additional year. This past spring, it was decided that it was time to submit an RFP for a refresh of our copier fleet. The goal of the RFP was to find a partner who could lower costs, help to reduce our reliance on printing, provide interoperability within our current environment, and to reduce downtime. The RFP was advertised in early May with a bid deadline of June 19th. We received 5 responses, 3 of which were incredibly competitive. After scoring all the submittals, Toshiba won the bid. Their cost per page was among the lowest, but equipment cost is what pushed them over the edge. Considering this, we look forward to much lower print costs for the 24-25 school year. Once approved, Dan Britta and his team will work on transition timeline to have the equipment replaced across the district. Fiscal note, estimated annual cost of $195,000, including printing and equipment. The administration recommends that the Board of School Trustees accept the proposal for Toshiba.
Thank you. At this time, I will entertain a motion to approve the Toshiba proposal as presented.
So moved.
That was a tie. So thank you, Bill Anderson, we'll go with you. Is there a second to the motion?
Second.
Thank you, Jimmy. It has been moved and seconded to approve the Toshiba proposal. Is there any discussion or any questions? All right, hearing none, all in favor say aye.
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 All opposed say no. Motion passes. Thank you. Mike, we will turn it back to you for you. Permission to advertise the 2025 budget, sorry.
Thank you. As we head into the budget season, we wanted to provide the board with a projected calendar for preparing and advertising the 2025 budget. With this, we are also asking permission to advertise the budget per the below calendar. At this time, we are still working on putting the budget together and collecting important information to complete the budget, such as our 24-25 enrollment. Over the next several weeks, we will be meeting with departments and finalizing the budget in Gateway. The 2025 budget calendar, June 30th, 2024, deadline to submit pre-budget report to DLGF. August 2024, receive certified net assessed valuation from the county. July 16th, 2024, budget calendar approval and permission to advertise the 2025 budget. July through August of 2024, department budget meetings, input 2025 budget into Gateway. August 30th, 2024, budget advertised on the district website in Gateway. Form 3 notice to taxpayers, bus replacement plan, capital project plan. September 10th, 2024, budget hearing, presentation to the board. October 8th, 2024, budget adoption. October 9th, 2024, budget forms and resolutions submitted to the DLGF for approval. December 2024, review and sign off on 1782 from the DLGF. The recommendation is that the Board of School Trustees approves advertising the 2025 budget.
All right, thank you. At this time, I'll entertain a motion to approve the advertising of the 2025 budget as presented.
So moved.
Is there a second to the motion?
Second.
It has been moved and seconded to approve the advertising the 2025 budget. Is there any questions or any discussion at this time? No? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. Motion passes. Mike, we are back to you again to go over the 2024-25 meal prices.
Thank you. Each year, the DOE requires the districts review their meal prices compared to the cost of goods. This year, the district would like to keep our breakfast and lunch prices level for the 24-25 school year. Because of the cost of increase for food, the district is looking to increase the cost of our a la carte items. These items are not supplemented through the federal school lunch program and have a greater cost impact to the district, which requires the increased cost. Meal prices and a la carte prices for 24-25 are listed below. You can read through those. The administration recommends that the Board of School Trustees approve the meal prices for the 24-25 school year.
At this time, I'll entertain a motion to approve meal prices for the 2024-25 school year as presented.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded to approve the meal prices for the 2024-25 school year. Is there any discussion or any questions? All right, hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. Motion passes. All right, the last item for Mr. Hall this evening is the approval of the Westfield High School girls soccer team overnight field trip that Mike will present.
Thank you. The Westfield High School girls soccer team will be playing in a tournament on Friday, August 30th, 2024, and Saturday, August 31st, 2024, in Evansville. The girls will leave around 2 p.m. and will spend the night at the Hilton Hotel located at 2020 Eagle Crest Drive, Evansville, Indiana. Fiscal note, trip costs are covered through the WABC fundraiser account. The administration recommends that the Board of School Trustees approve the overnight field trip for the Westfield girls soccer team Friday, August 30th, 2024, and returning Saturday, August 31st, 2024.
Thank you. At this time, I'll entertain a motion to approve the Westfield High School girls soccer team overnight field trip as presented.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
It has been moved and seconded to approve the Westfield High School girls soccer team overnight field trip. Is there any questions or discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. Motion passes. Thank you, Mike. Now, the next item on the agenda is for the second reading of the 6th batch of policies, which Dr. John Atha will present.
Thank you, Mrs. Willis and members of the board. So we continue our update and revision to our board policies. And last month, we introduced for a first read batch number 6. I will go through those policies. A301, which is wireless communication device policy. C525 is medical needs at school. C600 is withdrawal from school. E125, promotion, placement, and retention of students. E150, programs for high ability students. E200, credit for religious education. E225, college and university programs. F300, time and effort. F325, debt management. And F350 is reserve and liquidity. So the draft copies of these policies were placed in board docs on our webpage June 11th, and then we reviewed them at our regular June meeting. Our district leaders and key personnel have reviewed these. Questions that arose during the review process were shared with Churchill and Antrim, who have been guiding us from the legal perspective for each of these policies. And so we present these at a second read, and we recommend that the board adopt batch number 6 this evening.
Thank you.
You're
At this time, I'll entertain a motion to approve the adoption of the 6th batch of policies as presented.
I take a motion to approve the 6th batch.
Thank you. Is there a second to the motion?
Second.
Thank you. It's been moved and seconded to approve the adoption of the 6th batch of policies. Is there any discussion or any questions? All right, hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. Motion passes. Thank you, Dr. Atha. We will return to you for the next item on the agenda, and it is the first reading of the 7th batch of policies.
That's correct. Batch number 7, then we bring to you this evening for first read. This will, there are no action that needs to happen this evening, but we will introduce these draft policies for first read. D100, district organization. D125, evaluation of the superintendent. D150, board superintendent relationship. D175, board staff communication. D200, standard of care and supervision of students. D275, drug-free workplace. D525, no distracted driving. G125, criminal organization activity. G150, registered sex and violent offenders, and G275, animals on school property. These draft policies were placed on the website under Board Docs in our new policy link this morning. Mr. Hall, who's leading the efforts with Churchill and Antrim, sent this batch out to our leaders and key personnel who are reviewing them. As we get questions, or if the board has questions, as always, we reach out to our legal team at CCHA. We'll get those questions answered and make any adjustments to these drafts that we feel are needed. But this evening is just the first read of batch 7, so again, there is no action.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Atha. We will return to you for the next agenda item. Just kidding, wrong thing. Sorry, everyone. Thank you. Does the board have any questions over for this batch of policies? We will reach out to you. Turn the page. Okay, next on the agenda is the second reading of the 2024-25 WIS and WMS student handbooks. And Dr. Atha, take over.
Okay. Thank you, Mrs. Willis, members of the board. As you recall, last month we adopted most of our handbooks, but we we're still trying to wordsmith, I think, our new policy. So in our newly adopted policy, there was a new law this year from our legislators about prohibiting wireless communication devices during instructional time. And so we were updating our handbooks to try to match that new law and policy and do it in a manner that we believe supports both our faculty and staff as well as our students. And so we've updated that language in our intermediate school and middle school handbooks, and so we present those this evening for the second read and adoption. I do want to just note, I think the conversation in the past and with this new law really is we're trying to instructional time is critical, right? So we're trying to help students not be distracted by devices during instructional time, but we also understand that we're in the business of teaching and learning. So you might hear a lot these days about restorative processes or practices. So really, not only if a student makes a poor choice, do we maybe need a consequence, but we also need to solve the problem and give them skills so they don't make the same mistakes in the future. So this handbook guideline is drafted in that manner, and we understand there may be times during passing periods or lunchtime where a student needs to contact a parent or someone, and basically it's laid out to match the law. You can't have your phone or wireless device out during instructional time or during class time. And this is at the intermediate school and middle school, we ask that you not have it out during the school day without permission from school personnel. And so the idea there is we're putting it on the student to request to use it. Talk to both principals who have said, they've always said, if there's a legitimate reason, I need to let mom and dad know practice changed. A teacher could give them permission to do that. And so then the other thing is we're not going to try to hammer them with consequences unless they don't follow the directives, right? So being insubordinate somewhat. So it's not so much that you had the device out, it's either that you didn't follow a directive from school personnel. Now, I do want everyone to know that there are certain places where you should never have your cell phone out, and you shouldn't be taking pictures and videoing other people, especially in locker rooms or restrooms, and there are consequences for that, right? And we do call home and we do confiscate the device. Those are, not only are you interrupting, but you're also infringing on other kiddos as well at that point, and we need to make sure there's not anything inappropriate there. So the idea there is we're matching state law, but also helping kiddos. We do issue every student in our district a one-to-one device. So in K1, we have iPads, and 2 through 12, we have Chromebooks. So there's really not a need from the learning perspective for students to use a cell phone or their own personal cell phone or wireless device. But we certainly understand there may be times where they need to communicate with family or someone important, and if they get permission, that would be fine. The high school will still allow cell phones during passing periods and at lunchtime. That's kind of, as talking to the principals, we see that as kind of a rite of passage for high school students. The middle school and intermediate school are very concerned if kiddos would have devices out during passing periods. Those buildings are crowded, and they are somewhat not always paying attention, and if they have a device out, that just adds to the distraction. We also, when we started limiting devices at lunchtime last year in the middle school, kids were much more engaged in conversation with their classmates during that time. Again, that's the focus we'll have. If a student needed to use the device during that time, they would just ask for permission from school personnel. We always have an administrator in the lunchroom, and they would be allowed to do it.
Thank you for going over that in detail.
You're welcome.
At this time, I'll entertain a motion to approve the 2024-25 WIS and WMS student handbooks as presented.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. It has been moved and seconded to approve the 2024-25 WIS and WMS student handbook. Is there any discussion or any questions? Nope. Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. Motion passes. We'll go back to Dr. Atha for the next item on the agenda, updating grade configuration for the Indiana Department of Education, please.
Thank you, Mrs. Willis, members of the board. So over the last couple years, we have, through, I guess I'll call it Destination Westfield, and maybe even our last round, we've begun to reorganize and reconfigure our district, and it began with this facility, or the facility attached to us, the Virginia F. Wood Early Learning Center, which is a infant through 4-year-old building, or preschool building, and somewhat daycare building. And so those kiddos used to be out in our schools. And so through the DOE, we discovered that some of our elementaries were actually designated pre-K through 4, and we were told if we no longer have pre-K in our elementaries, we need the governing body to update that and make it accurate. So I tell you that because as we continue to reconfigure, the other things we'll have to do is always have board action with the DOE to do that. So naming our schools, there will need to be official board action as we name our new schools. And then also we would state the configuration. So our middle schools will be 6th, 7th, and 8th grade schools. This is for accreditation and accountability purposes. I will note that there will be a year in 2026-27 where we will actually have, our plan is 7 K through 5 buildings, and we will actually have 1 K through 6 building, right? Because our 6th graders right now are planned to be housed at the intermediate school with K through 5. So that building, as far as DOE and school accountability is concerned, is 1 school. You can't house 2 schools in 1 building. It's a school, or you need a second address, I guess. But anyway, so as we get to those steps, I'll come back and ask the board to approve that, and then I take copies of the minutes and submit them to the DOE, and they update that information.
You might be able to do like a floor 1 tenant, floor 2.
Yeah, they basically don't like the idea of, one location is 1 school. Their concern is that you're trying to manipulate the accountability if you try to designate the school different grade levels and whatnot. Because for the 1 year that we have a K through 6 building, that school owns, so you own the prior year. So even though the 5th grade students they will have been in that school as an intermediate school. So that school owns not only the data for the 3rd and 4th graders they have, but it will also own the data for the 6th graders. So that as when you think about letter grades and those things. And so, so will be a 1 year, then it will take 6th grade away and move them to the middle school. But it works its way out through the process. And it'll be designated that way with the Department of Education. So, but when I reached out to them to try to explain this to them, they said, you need copies of the minutes from your school board to change anything. So tonight, what's on the table is let's get our current K through 4 buildings. We'll designate them. So the recommendation is that we have a motion to make our grade configuration for our 6 K through 4 buildings, K through 4. And then I can submit that and we'll go from there.
Excellent. Thank you. At this time, I'll entertain a motion to approve the grade configuration of kindergarten through 4th grade in all 6 elementary schools as presented.
So moved.
Is there a second to the motion?
Second.
It has been moved and seconded to approve the grade configuration of kindergarten through grade 4 in all 6 elementary schools. Is there any discussion or any questions? All right, hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say no. Motion passes. The final item on the curriculum agenda is a curriculum update. Dr. Atha.
So I just want to let the board know that beginning Thursday this week, we have our administrative summer retreat. We're doing it, I don't know if it's technically a retreat since we're doing it on site to save some dollars and but we can still get accomplished what we need to. So we will have at the middle school on Thursday, all our principals, assistant principals, counselors, instructional coaches, and central office personnel and operations folks. And we'll be doing a day and a half. And then next week we have our leadership summit. However, what I wanted to say is next Tuesday, we have a work session, which is curriculum focused, where we're going to give you an update on the happenings. So that's all I'm sharing tonight, since next week, and I do believe it'll be live streamed next week. The work session, yes. So anyone that's interested in those happenings can watch the live stream or the recording once it's over. So I'll wait till a week from this evening for our official curriculum update with the board at a work session.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Atha.
You're welcome.
We will now hear from Josh Andrews for a communication update.
Thank you very much. First of all, the Shamrock Academy applications have closed yesterday, and we got a really good crop of people. I'm excited to go through and work with our administrators to make sure that we get a representative sample of people across the district and from different schools, and Dr. Kaiser and I discussed it today, and we're going to go with about 30 people and have that cohort go through the entire school year. And I'll definitely keep you guys updated as I do on my board updates, but also this year I'll send out invitations to you all for each one, and you can decide to drop in if you like, if you have some extra time. It's from 9 to 12 on the Thursday of board meetings. I know you guys have real lives and such, but if you ever have some extra time, feel free to pop in and let me know, and in advance we can make sure we leave some time for you to address the group if you would like. This is kind of a communications thing, but also kind of a success story, is the Careers on Wheels event that we had over there at the BAC camp. I don't know if you guys have heard of that, but there was Lindsay Tamamichael, Dr. Lindsay Tamamichael as of today, and Brian Tamamichael and a few other people worked really hard to bring a lot of our construction vendors, but also other people from the community, firefighters, police officers, and anyone who has kind of a car or physical aspect to the job, and they let the students kind of go around and ask them questions and learn about how the fire truck works, learn what police officers do, learn how to construct the buildings. There was one really cool one where they had a model of a big crane, and so they had to teach the kids how to offset the weight with stuff in the back of it. And we were supposed to be on the morning news on Monday, but the news of the weekend kind of took a different shift, so we hadn't make it on there yet. But when it comes out, I'll let you guys know as well. Our next Shamrock Blast will be a back-to-school blast, so that will have lots of information. I'm currently working on a website that's gonna put everything in one spot, because the way we have it now isn't as efficient as we would like it to be, so in the next couple of days, that'll be there, and then we'll start promoting a lot of things on social media, but also the next blast will be that back-to-school blast. And that's all I have.
Hey, Josh, could you talk very quickly about the process we went through with kids evaluating our webpage and some of the things we're working on related to that?
Yeah, I might have mentioned it a little back during the school year, but I worked with the digital marketing teacher at the high school and worked with her class, and I went through a trimester-long project with them all where I worked as their client, and they were looking at our website from the standpoint of the professional, the website professional, and they gave us feedback on what we could do, what we could improve. I gave them a lot of information about our social media and about the people who we're targeting, but also the people of our community. And they did a really great job of coming to us with some very valuable things that we can do to help improve our website, to help our targeted audience. And they also gave us the perspective of the younger person, because obviously my age and 16, 17-year-old, we look at websites differently. So we also learned a lot of different ways that we can reorganize our information in a way that's going to be more likely to be seen by the people that need to see it. And they left us a nice packet along with some wireframes of what certain websites look like, and it was really valuable information. So when we met with our website vendor recently, Final Site, and discussed how can we, with the site that we have, how can we input some of these changes. So right now, I'm kind of working on a little bit of the content on the website, and once that's done, the next phase is to go in there and really change up and make the use and the functionality of the website a little bit more user-friendly. And a lot of that will have been spurred by those high school students.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Josh. Next is success stories. Dr. Kaiser, board members, any success stories?
Well, I'm going to congratulate our principals and Chris on getting staff hired. And Chris, do you have a ballpark how many teachers we've hired at this point in time? I'm putting you on the spot. A lot.
Spreadsheet, but, 40 or probably about 50 or so.
Yeah.
Just certified staff members, and then now IAs, not certified, will start ramping up.
Are we still getting people walking in registering every day?
Students?
Students,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah, absolutely. In fact, I saw mom upset today because she came in right after 4 o'clock and we closed and went back out, but they're coming in. And again, a compliment to Chris and his team. We're not waiting until the start of the school year to bring those staff members on board with the benefits. We're doing that on an ongoing basis. So, it's happening. We don't have to wait till the first of the year to get insurance ready. And so it's a new process Chris started about 2 or 3 years ago. It's been very beneficial. So my hat's off to Chris and everybody we're bringing on board and we'll continue to bring on board. It's become a very good, seamless process for us.
Jimmy, Rebecca, anyone else?
I'd like to one more time acknowledge Bailey and Sean, who's not here, for the national awards that they got for the content that they created. The holiday video and the Welcome to Westfield video that they made last year, they submitted that and it won national recognition, and they do some really great work. And I'm going to send you guys out another video that they recently did for the Cary Ridge expansion project update. Their videos just keep getting better and better, and I was wowed by the one that I saw today. So I'll send you that tomorrow and you can see, but they do some great work and I'm glad to see that they get acknowledged for that. Thank you.
Good job.
Good job. Bill?
So I want to thank you for all the great publicity you guys put out. I feel much more well-informed. We had those fantastic videos that got national awards. We have a Teacher of the Year, Nikki Heflin. What a huge accomplishment. And all the sports teams, the golf team's doing great. We've got kids winning at tournaments, and the baseball team did well. Mike and I went to this football scrimmage where we had a team from, I think,
East St. Louis.
East St. Louis came over to help scrimmage, and I think we had, was it Warren?
Ben Davis.
Oh, it was Ben Davis,
Ben
sorry,
Davis.
this year was Ben Davis, and of course Fort Wayne Snyder
Yeah,
came
there
down.
you go.
So it was a lot of fun, and, but anyway, I know this because I see these things in the blast. Also, the foundation, mostly I get that from Facebook, they're highlighting all the kids that won all the scholarship awards, got to see some great pictures. We sent one of our representatives from the Westwood Kiwanis Club. I couldn't make it because we had a meeting that night, so we got to give out some Kiwanis awards along with all the other scholarship awards. So I really appreciate all those pictures we get to see. So thank you. It seems like a very busy summer, but it's good to see all of those great accomplishments and things that are going on.
No problem.
Yeah, I
Thank you.
think they're doing a good job showing all those scholarships.
Yes.
It takes a lot of energy and effort to get all those
I love
individual awards, but it gives recognition not only to the student, but then the sponsor of the
Yeah.
scholarship itself. It's really nice. Kind of along with that, so we've been doing a new campaign with Stuff the Bus these last 2 days at local banks. So you might see buses in parking lots, so we're encouraging everyone to get out and get extra supplies for the students. The next big date for Stuff the Bus is gonna be at the Walmart on the 26th. So make sure you go out there. And then the big event, Rock the Block, is gonna be August 2nd from 5 to 7:30 at the soccer complex with mini vendors and mini kids. The FFA kids will have animals out there. Kids will be practicing soccer, all kinds of fun stuff. And then local community members, just supporting students. It'll be great. So mark your calendars.
Well, this is a really important question. For at the Rock the Block, are we gonna have the llamas again? That's the question.
so.
Okay, that's my favorite part.
tree that got cut down, so they were trying to figure out shade for
Oh, okay,
the last thing I saw in something that I read, but yeah.
okay.
The picture with you and the llamas was a lasting image, and
Yeah, all my neighbors sent that to me. Hey, thanks.
I heard Fisher has to kiss the llama.
Oh, all right, well, there you go.
Don't let us spit on you.
Yeah, I've heard they spit, yeah.
Well, I'll add to that, Josh, you highlighted, I think, in the blast, one of our FFA student athletes is going to Cornell, which is,
Avery,
they have,
football player.
they have a wonderful ag school there. I'm not sure what he's gonna major in, but that's a great accomplishment to go to an Ivy League school and participate as an athlete. So it'll be a wonderful experience in New York for him to attend, so,
Oh, yeah, he's going to be a senior.
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, right, that'll
Yeah.
be fun to watch. He'll have a great season, and then we'll get to watch him at Cornell, so yeah.
Yeah, on that note, our starting quarterback is committed to Bowling Green and is considered one of the top 10 quarterbacks. And we had 3 receivers in the Star article, and one happened to be Parker Knott, and along with 2 others that are considered some of the better athletes. It's a good time of year. And the same thing with golf, and a lot of our fall athletes were getting that recognition. They've already started the football press release, and we played Carmel at home on our first game, and remember, girls' golf starts early, so.
Right. I forgot to mention, we had our previous quarterback in the All-Star game, in North-South, and
His dad got to coach him.
Gilbert coached the South. I think they dominated the North, which was poor Snyder's coach. Snyder had some athletes as well, but the South did well, Gilbert did well, and his son did well at quarterback, so it was pretty great.
One last thing, tomorrow we have for our staff members, if you're going to be picking this, we're doing a congratulations to Stacy McGuire and her retirement. And so that's tomorrow at 3 o'clock, Stacy, I think. So if anybody would like to come in and congratulate Stacy on the next phase of her career and what she's going to do, so.
Perfect. All right, with that, our next regular board meeting will be August 13th at 6:30 PM. Can I have a motion to adjourn the meeting? Is there a second to the motion?
Second.
Thank you. Meeting adjourned. You guys do not have to stay.